Hello, Logan and Apps here from Dimp Digital, and this time we bring you a review of Golf Story on the Nintendo Switch. Apps, how you doing?
Good, thanks you.
Yeah, good. Okay, so let's get into it. Do you want to chuck your cards right on the table for us?
Yeah, so Golf Story, had no real idea what it was, to be honest. I've got no history with Sidebar Games who developed this. It's available exclusively on Nintendo Switch. Came out September of 2017. Single player game, role playing game based on golf rather than traditional combat. Didn't really know a great deal about it, but it was just over 10 UK pounds on the store in one of the sales, and I thought, well, Switch is not getting a lot of action. Let's jump on Golf Story and see what it's about.
Yeah, I think we said just before we jumped into this that I was sniffing around it and just sort of didn't really go for it, and you obviously did.
Yeah.
Going to ask you,
You've got to be careful in that Nintendo store because they are. I mean, you said it looked a little bit like a mobile port, and there are actual mobile ports of other games sneaking on there. Some, in fact, that are free to play on mobile, but they're charging a few quid for on the Switch. So you have got to be a little bit careful. But luckily, I'd seen this covered in sort of gaming media outlets, so I knew it was legit and I wasn't going to be stung. Hopefully, when I played this.
Yeah, I think that the only reason I just passed it by is because for some reason I looked at it and went, "Oh, it feels." I don't know. It just I'm quite big on my mobile gaming, and it just reminded me of something that might be on the App Store, and it always kind of puts me off a little bit. But that was just a prejudice I made based on absolutely nothing. So let's get into it. Obviously, it's the title of it is Golf Story. So what's the story about?
Essentially, you play as a generic person. You don't get to create your character, so. You are, the fella that you're dropped with.
That's a black mark.
Yeah, well, I was expecting, to be honest. I thought it would be you'd create your own character, but no, you're just this chap with brown hair and a green top, roaring round. You're playing like this down on his luck golfer, and essentially, when he was a kid, he loved golf. Then he sort of fell out of love with it, and you're just picking up from that point where he wants to get back into it. And the story it's not, they don't play it straight at all. It's a complete, it's quite mad where it goes, considering it's a golf game. But it works. It knows what it's doing. It's not trying to play it off as a serious story. It's a very jolly, laid back. What you want, basically, your end goal is to get into the pro tournaments and get onto the pro tour. So you go through different worlds and different, courses to prove yourself, essentially. And there's other like weird side quests and quests you have to complete to do that.
Interesting. So, what does the game look like? I think from what I saw, I've shrugged it off as 16-bit, but you can probably elaborate on that a little bit better.
I don't be knowing the bits, but you're not far off. Look, it's classic top-down, old school RPG. Lots of colour, 2D, obviously. Works well, it knows what it is. It plays to its strengths. It isn't Uncharted. It's never going to be Uncharted, but for a top-down sort of RPG, it works well. It looks perfectly acceptable.
So, what's the game structure then? You sort of alluded to it being, you progress through this golf story, but is it very linear or is it a bit open worldy?
No, it's open world. Like you essentially unlock different courses as you go through. But at any time you're free to go back to other courses, and when walking around those courses, you bump into NPCs that you can talk to, and they might have a challenge or a quest for you, and you kind of decide whether you want to go ahead and do that. If you do complete it, you gain cash, which is basically your experience, and then you can level up. So you can level up your skills, you can level up your power, your finesse, your spin, and other bits and pieces to make you a better golfer. So it makes the game a little bit easier as you go on. And yeah, you're kind of just free to go off and do what you want. You've normally got a handful of quests on at the same time. It doesn't overwhelm you. It's not like The Witcher where there's like 30 quests just sort of piling out your ass and you're like, Christ, what do I do next? It's very, when the next kind of trigger point is to go to. So you're not left with your thumb up your ass. You just naturally will progress from course to course. You might play the odd 9-hole golf course against a computer opponent. That might be a challenge that you've got to do to progress, but generally you're left up to your own devices to do what you want to do, and there's little challenges and things that you can pick up, like hitting your ball at a balloon or something in the sea, and it'll give you XP. So there's all different bits you can do if you wish to.
That's good. One of the things that stresses me out most in games is having too much going on at the same time. It really bothers me. I can't keep track of it all. I like to just be knowing maybe one or two things, and I go, right, I'll do that and then that. I don't like too much going on. So how does the gameplay work then? Is it seamless, or do you feel like it needs a little bit more?
So the way it essentially works is like classic old school golf games. So you'll set where you want to aim, and then there's factors like the wind and other bits and pieces like, I don't know, say the wind. There's other things there that I can't, for some reason, put my finger on. What else can impact your shot? But
spin and all that.
Oh, what is it? Fuck. I think it might be only wind, actually. It might be only wind. So anyway, there's factors like wind that might affect your shot, and you have to line up where you want to go, and then you'll hit like the I think it's the A button on the Switch, and it will start your power meter going up. When you want to stop, whether that's at full power, half power, quarter power, you'll hit it, and then on the way back on the bar, you have to try and hit it within like a small, area to get a straight shot. And all these factors play into where the ball lands. You can choose where to hit the ball. You can sort of put forward spin and it back spin. It's not complicated. It's very, very, classically using old controls that we've seen 1,000 times before. But it's nice just to have a nice modern game using it, I guess, for once. It's been a long time since I've played one of these old school kind of, golf arcade games.
Yeah, as you were going through my head, all that kept coming up was the basics. I don't know why. I was just like, it sounds like what you'd expect, basically, nothing over and above that.
No, it's traditional free-click system, so, it's easy to get your head round. Easy to get it wrong, though, not, by no means a gimme. And you can unlock powers to make things easy, so you can unlock focus, which will make the bar go slower, and it'll ignore the wind. You can boost power. And like real golf, if the ball lands in the bunker or lands in the rough, your next shot is a little bit harder. You can't hit it as far. So it's got those elements there as a base for those that are looking for a light kind of golfing experience.
Sounds like a PGA Tour game I had on the Mega Drive.
Yeah, it will do. It's not like the old Rory McIlroys or the Tiger Woods where you're swinging back the analog and swinging it forward. It's very much back to its roots. Back when you probably we were playing golf games back on the Amiga or whatever. I remember having one on there. And it's that sort of control.
So you've mentioned previously that you paid around £10 UK for it. I think it's around £11.50 on the store normally. How long did it take you to complete it then? Is it a long game? Was it feel overly long?
Yeah, I mean it's £13.50 natural price, but so it's a couple of quid more. But the time that I clocked in to complete the game was a whopping 18.5 hours.
Crimey.
Which I wasn't expecting. Like, I thought it'd be 5, 6, 7 hours tops.
Yeah.
And it took more time than I anticipated, which in some ways is great for for £13.5 or less if there's a sale on. That's great value. But in other times, if you want to get through it, it's a pain. It's hard. It gets hard towards the end, so it's definitely not a gimme that you'll just cruise through this. You have to start getting good at the mechanics to progress. So you've got a story mode there, so that's sort of the 18.5 hours I spent in there, and then you've got a quick play mode where you can set up a single event with you and another person, so you can play 2-player on that. But obviously story mode's where it's at. There's no other kind of online other than the leaderboards that are there. But you look at value, you think for 13 quid and 19 odd hours, you won't get through it much quicker than that, even if you're really good. So in conclusion, probably good value if you look at it that way.
Yeah, can't really knock that. 18 hours, blimey. So is there any other business you want to bring up for this game?
I want to just give a little shout out to the soundtrack. Actually, it's a nice little upbeat, ticks you along. Each stage or each hole, I should say, or each sort of golf course has its own unique theme tune to it, which is quite nice. So when you go to X, golf club, it'll have a different tune to the one previously. It gives them their own kind of unique feel, and actually, it's quite relaxing and nice music. I'm actually thinking of getting hold of it somehow and using it in the background of some of our talks just to sort of take the edge off it slightly. So you may be hearing some golf story in the background of our videos very soon.
Robbed. So moving on to your closing thoughts then. Have you got any sort of closing thoughts just to summarise the game?
Yeah, I mean, it's been mostly a positive review. One thing I would say is that it is a very basic game. You know, for £13.50, it doesn't have in-depth RPG mechanics. So if you're expecting there to be all sorts of leveling up and different buffs and things that you can add, it's not there. It is old school golf game with a story that's at times a little bit long in the tooth, but serviceable for what they want. Price point's very good. It's a long game and gets tricky. So depending on your faults, you might either like that or dislike that. I got a little bit annoyed at the end personally, so that'll give you a little bit of insight into what happened towards the back end of that game when it starts getting fucking hard.
Really wish you could have streamed that, but anyway.
It's the closest the Switch has been to going on the floor, which
really, out of everything you've played so far?
Yeah, easily.
That's awesome.
Easily.
The floor.
Honestly, I couldn't, because obviously it's 300 quid as good as, but there was times when I thought, you know what?
Could just get rid of it. It made me feel better for a moment.
And then really regret it and be even more annoyed at the game because it's made me do it. Obviously, it's the game's fault, not me.
So, let's move on to the key bit. Should you buy it or bin it?
Fucking buy it.
There you go. I think I saw that coming. Yeah. Sounds like a right bargain.
Yep.
So, what is the game's then official Dimp grading?
Golf Story, despite being very good value, is a very basic experience. It's not going to give you the depth probably that a lot of people require, but it's a good game. It's solid, and I think it's something that people, if you're at a loose end, could pick up and enjoy. Has a few flaws in it, definitely not perfect, but for that reason, the official grading of Golf Story is going to be bronze.
Sounds about right. It can't really be expected to do much more than that.
No, it was always going to be a tough ask. I mean, it was early doors. You're looking at silver, but there's just a few bits. It's obviously not perfect. It gets frustrating with the way it fucks you over with the weather sometimes, and it is what it is at the end of the day. But for £13.50, top bargain and Switch exclusive, which is crazy to me. It does really well on the Switch because it's a handheld game and a handheld console. Sorry, so it's really good for that kind of that environment. But I'm so surprised it's only on Switch. I can't believe it's not been ported elsewhere yet. Crazy.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Maybe to come.
Yeah.
Right. Well, let's wrap this up then. Thanks for your time, Apps.
No worries.
See you later. Thanks. Ta-da.
Peggy 7.